I absolutely, totally forgot how much of a douche Tony Stark is. This week, we watched Iron Man. Iron Man is the inaugural film of a giant, hugely successful movie franchise. So if you haven't seen the Marvel movies or any of the superhero movies, I mean, I don't know how that's possible. You must have heard them. There's like, I should have looked up how many there are. It's in the 20s or 30s. Like, this was the first of many. And I've noticed that the book does this. They put the first of a franchise or the first of a trilogy in the book. And I'm assuming they're like tipping their hat to the entire franchise and trilogy. So Iron Man was put in the book because it was hugely successful. Originally, the movie producers thought that they would only just break even and make a ton of money on merchandising. So the film was essentially a huge marketing ploy to get kids to buy action figures and all the tons of other merchandising. They didn't expect it to be such a huge box office hit. It made like 6 times more than what they thought it would. Plus they still like made a killing in merchandising. So this was a very successful movie. It was successful for people that liked the comic books, and it was successful for people who just like action movies. Also, like, as the franchise goes on, there's more and more of this like new genre that developed. I think it developed from this franchise, is this like action comedy. There's a lot of like little witty parts in here, and I mean, it's one of my favorite genres now is the action comedy. So I think that this started like a huge wave of that. Let's see what the book has to say. So this is in the action, adventure, and epic section. Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., head of a successful weapons company, is kidnapped whilst demonstrating a new missile in Afghanistan. Although under instructions to build a missile for his terrorist captors, Stark instead uses the materials to construct a suit of flying armor that will not only help him escape, but also keep the shrapnel now embedded in his chest from killing him. After witnessing Hollywood studios fumble in adapting some of their lesser-known superheroes for the big screen, Marvel decided to set up their own production company and do things properly. By handling things in-house, they were able to control everything from scripting to marketing, which results in a feeling of organic authenticity not unusually found in films of this scale. The visual effects and action sequences are as huge and impressive as we've come to expect from a film like this, but there is a dollop of wit to them that is highly refreshing. Now the thing is, I love this movie, and I love the franchise. I've seen all the movies at least once, some of them multiple times. Iron Man is not my favorite. I do prefer Thor. I actually like Captain America better too, and the new Spider-Man? Yeah. Iron Man, I don't like him as a person, so I have a really hard time liking him. I'm trying not to be like super controversial, but unfortunately, he's the type of person that I wouldn't be friends with in real life. Like, he's just so out of touch with reality. He goes to Afghanistan and is like, why are Stark weapons in the hands of the enemy? Like, dude, you're making weapons. It's war. Like, you can't manufacture weapons and then be surprised that people are using it. Because if the weapon can't tell if it's an American holding it or not, anyone can use the weapon. Like, even if your uncle wasn't double dealing behind your back, like, stolen a truck full of weapons, like, they can still use these weapons. Like, if you don't want these weapons used, don't make them. Like, it's just, like, he's just so out of touch with reality. Ugh. It's just, and not all rich people are like this, but there are so many rich people, one specifically that I know that I can think of, that just don't understand what it's like for people that aren't rich. And they just don't have, they don't understand consequences for action or like thinking through choices. And I feel like Tony Stark really represents this type of person. And here's an example for you. Here is what my perfect example of the type of person that doesn't think about consequences for his actions. So he builds this Iron Man suit, escapes, leaves all the drawings and all of everything that he did to plan for the suit in his little cave, crashes in the desert, leaves the entire suit he was wearing in the desert, and then escapes and moves on. You know, if you leave all the parts and the drawings of how to make it behind, chances are someone else is going to recreate it and make it. Like, what? Then you're like surprised, like, how did they make it? How did they do it? I'm watching the world news for the first time and I see that someone has made the same suit as me. Well, yeah, you left your plans and your drawings and all the materials behind. What did you think was going to happen? As I mentioned, I do love this film and I do love the franchise, and I think one of the silliest, funniest things that there's one point in the movie where he's at his home and he has like just like a white t-shirt on and he's cut out a hole for where his like little chest piece is. In the majority of the film, he's just wearing like a kind of see-through t-shirt, or like you can see that it's underneath his shirt. But in this one scene, he has like a hole cut out, and it totally reminded me of Regina George from Mean Girls when they go into the locker room and they cut holes in her tank top and then she just walks out with them. I love Jon Favreau. There's amazing directing in this. There's amazing acting in this. The sound editing particularly, it really stood out to me. There's a lot of really great things about this film, and there's a lot of really great things about this entire franchise. I just don't like Tony Stark as a person. I also don't like Bruce Wayne. So, but we'll save that for a future video. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see all my videos when they come out, hit the notification bell. And we'll see you next week. And next week, I'm going to be watching the movie Airplane.